Welcome to Cool Tunes for a Hot Planet, the podcast that uses music to inspire us in the struggle against climate change. Songs to warm your soul so you can help cool the world.
Hi, I'm Warren Senders, and this is Cool Tunes for Hot Planet, the podcast at the intersection of music and the struggle for social and environmental justice. Our human lives are governed by the constant cycle of seasons. Seasonal festivals are part of human experience everywhere. In England, this takes the form of Morris dancing, traditional dances and songs that celebrate the changes in season. Here, we have a song Welcoming in May from Ken Brahman of the Foresters Morris Men in Nottinghamshire, England.
Now the clock strikes one, it's time to be gone, for we can no longer stay. So God bless you all, both great and small, and we wish you a happy May.
Today's eclectic program includes a song about an immigrant who came to this country to help build the American dream working on the railroad in Montana, a Norwegian song about young and old coming together to protest the destruction of their country's fjords, a moving tribute to Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail. All of these songs were produced under the supervision of Music to Life, an organization that brings social justice performers, singers, musicians together to help provide them with a network of support and opportunities to make a living, doing well by doing good. Music to Life's director, Liz Sunday, will be joining us in a little while, and we'll hear more about her remarkable organization. But first, let's get started with the song Walkin the Hi-Line by Joselyn, Wilkinson, and Don Barrozo. Don's father came from the Philippines when Don was a child and worked on the Empire Builder rail line in Montana, called the Hi-Line. This song, Walkin the Hi-Line, is a tribute to the immigrants who helped support and build the great American experiment. That is to say, all of our ancestors.
The ocean back in 1929. They gave me a new name in the immigration line. Me and Dad, we worked the fields till summer days grew cold. Then we worked the railroad. I was fetching water for the men who laid the tracks. Seattle to Chicago on the labor of our backs. Men of every color, together we're a team, building the American dream. Working the Hi-Line, working the Hi-Line, working the Hi-Line until it's quitting time. 18 years and on my own when Daddy left for good. I promised him I'd go back home, but I knew I never would. The Empire Builder brought me here, and here is where I'll stay. I'll raise a family here someday. Working the Hi-Line, working the Hi-Line, working the Hi-Line until it's quitting time. Taught myself some instruments and started up a band. I country is my home now, and this is where I'll die, under the big Montana sky. Working the Hi-Line, working the Hi-Line, working the Hi-Line until it's quitting time. Working the Hi-Line, working the Hi-Line, working the Hi-Line until it's quitting time.
Hi, we're Joselyn and Dawn. We're a folk Americana duo from Los Angeles, but originally from Montana. And we're really pleased to be on the podcast today. The song you're going to hear is called Walkin the Hi-Line.
As Joselyn said, we're from the state of Montana, and the part of Montana I'm from in particular is called the Hi-Line because of the northernmost transcontinental railroad line in the U.S., the Empire Builder, and that is nicknamed the Hi-Line. My dad immigrated from the Philippines in 1929, and he ended up doing some work on that railroad line and into the state of Montana, where he found that he just loved it so much that he stayed. Now, there was a lot of heartbreak involved in that decision because it meant that he never saw his parents again, and that's a lot due to the immigration laws at the time, which we have very similar things going on in the U.S. today. On a larger scope, this is about the immigrant experience and the hopes and the heartaches that go along with the decision to come to another country.
Absolutely. So we hope you enjoy the song, and it'll be on our forthcoming album, Lost and Found Highway, due out this fall.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Now let's meet Liz Sunday, the director of Music to Life, the nonprofit organization that sponsors young musicians who wish to make their careers singing about issues of climate and social justice. I spoke with Liz a few days ago on Zoom. With me today is Liz Sunday. She is the co-founder and director of Music to Life, which has helped provide us with all of the selections, or many of the selections, that we're using in today's program. Liz, thank you so much for joining us.
Warren, it's just what a wonderful collaboration here. I love it. It's great to be here. Music to Life was founded by me and my father, Paul Stuckey of the folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary. This was deliberately founded to be a legacy organization for musicians who have wanted their music to be a platform, a conveyor of positive messaging, connecting across divides, etc.
What do you do besides providing us with cool and amazing videos?
So what Music to Life does is we connect socially conscious musicians with resources, training, mentorship to help them actually step off the stage and into their communities in very deliberate ways. And the song is kind of what gets them in the door, in the sense that we always screen for talent, but we're specifically interested in musicians that have a dual mission. So they want to be the best artists they can be, but they also want to design and develop programs that help resolve or solve or address a community issue. And we help them build that program to be sustainable. So we're teaching them to consider partnerships, write grants, design programs that have, that return value to the community. So it's that sweet spot where musicians come in and they're certainly learning business skills, and they're certainly learning kind of how to develop and pitch a program, but the difference is they're doing it in the context of a social change marketplace. So if an artist comes in with their idea and we can help them package it for funding, for support from the community, then it can do two things, right? It can help support the community because it's now smartly packaged, and it can help support the artist.
And that's especially germane, of course, when the communities the artists are working for or within are not at the top of the economic ladder.
Correct. And I think for too long, there was this expectation that artists or musicians would turn around and just give back to their communities. And perhaps there will always be that balance. But what we're pushing is if we're going to have representation from these communities that are hurting, these communities in need, then there is an economy around helping them. And so we're helping artists think strategically about how to access that economy.
Musictolife.org is the URL?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Sunday, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Warren. Appreciate it.
Next up is Hilja, performing Fjorden Er Ikke Var. The title means The Fjord Is Not Ours, and the song is an homage to these beautiful bodies of water and the protests in 2022 against their destruction by industrial development. The struggle to protect our environment is never-ending, and this song from these Norwegian social justice activists is a beautiful demonstration of that. Here's Hilja performing Fjorden Er Ikke Var.
Mamma har fortalt at folk har kjempet denne kampen fra lenge før jeg ble født. Et annet sted, en annen tid, men med samme drøm om å få lov å prøve å ta vare på det vi har fått, men som aldri kan bli vårt. De sa elva er ikke vår, så vær så snill og la den leve. Man skulle kanskje tro vi hadde lært noe siden 1982. Bare se på alt vi vet, og alt som skjer, for verden er et annet sted enn den var da. Og vi har ikke fått noe mer å ta. Fjorden er ikke vår, som står sammen for å kreve at fjorden må få leve.
Vi blir jo aldri ferdig med det.
Fjorden er ikke vår, fjorden er ikke vår, fjorden er ikke vår, fjorden er ikke vår. Så vær så snill og la den leve.
Er ikke vår, The Fjord Is Not Ours was written in a protest camp by the Fjord in the north of Norway. This fjord is one of many Norwegian fjords threatened to be destroyed by toxic mining waste. And this case is painfully similar to a famous Norwegian conflict that took place in the 70s and 80s, the Battle of the Alta River. The Alta conflict is one of the most significant incidents in both the environmental and the indigenous movement in Norway. The similarities between these conflicts inspired me to write a 70s style folk song as an homage to the activists that came before us. I decided to release Fjorden Er Ikke Var after my first experience with civil disobedience in a similar case by the Fjord in the west of Norway. The music video includes footage from these demonstrations, including a video of me getting arrested together with my husband. The song is written as an homage to the people fighting for freedom, equality, and a livable environment throughout history. It has become one of my favorite songs to play live because it became part of what united us during the demonstrations by the Fjord. It has brought me and my fellow activists a lot of hope throughout the years.
Human history can also be imagined as a history of work. Whether it's farming or hauling or digging or chopping or fishing, song synchronizes our body motions and it keeps our minds focused on the task, and perhaps most importantly, it builds community. David Lewiston recorded this harvest work song in the nation of Ladakh, the highlands of western Tibet, back in the 1970s. The leader of the group, he's calling out phrases like, "Now I'm cutting the grain," "Now this plot is cleared," and the others echo him. Up next, from the 2014 Climate Message Project, jazz singer Heather Massey offers her version of "A Change Is Gonna Come," the great Sam Cooke classic.
I was born by the river in a little town, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change will come. Oh, yes, it will. I'm Heather Massey, and we live in Catskills in New York. This is my son, August. I want our generation and generations to come to enjoy the beautiful wonders of this wild earth. Let's protect it and keep it safe. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's out there beyond. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know change gonna come.
With the rise of industrialism in the 1800s, workers in factories and mines began to flex their collective power and come together to build labor unions, demanding shorter hours, better pay, and increased safety. The union movement meant a new kind of work song, a song that protested injustice while spreading the messages of labor unions and workers' rights. Ella Mae Wiggins was born in North Carolina in 1900, and she went to work in the mills at a young age. She wrote this song, a mill mother's lament, about her life and that of her fellow workers. We leave our homes in the morning, we kiss our children goodbye, while we slave for the bosses, our children scream and cry. It's for our little children that seem to us so dear. For us nor them dear workers, the bosses do not care. Ella Mae was killed in 1929 by company thugs in the Lorry Mill Strike in Gastonia, North Carolina. It's for workers like her, for balladeers like her, that we celebrate May Day as International Workers' Day. This next song takes on some of the more problematic aspects of the American experiment, our long and troubling history of jailing immigrants, minorities, and people whose existence inconveniences those in power. It's happening right now, as the Trump administration is disappearing people to foreign gulags. Lara Herscovitch reminds us of Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail, and as Dr. King asks, will we be extremists for hate or for love? Here's Letters from a Ghost by Lara Herscovitch.
Across this bridge, they'll swim and you fly 5,000 ways to get to the other side. As the hero will tell, when you reach out your hand to someone else, you help yourself. 3 billion tears, 3 billion more. Who's keeping score? Here we stand, hand by hand, side by side. Why not eye to eye? The mail piles high, 'cause a nightingale keeps bringing letters from a ghost in a Birmingham jail. I believe the good doctor would not want us to sit where he bravely stood. It's a matter of heart, a matter of time. If we're still dreaming, the dream stays alive. 3 billion smiles, 4 billion more. Who's keeping score? Here we stand, hand by hand, side by side. Why not eye to eye? The mail piles high, 'cause a nightingale keeps bringing letters from a ghost in a Birmingham jail. Fear dives in, and courage climbs back out. We're all staring long at our swords in the stone. Here we stand, hand by hand, side by side. Why not eye to eye? The mail piles high, 'cause a nightingale keeps bringing letters from a ghost in a Birmingham jail.
I'm Lara Herscovitch, and first I'd like to thank Music to Life and Third Act for the invitation to join. I wrote Letters from a Ghost after a visit to the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee at the Lorraine Motel. It which is the location where in 1968 the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. The museum tells the history of the civil rights movement in the United States, including the days when Dr. King was imprisoned in Birmingham, Alabama, and wrote his famous essay, Letter from a Birmingham Jail. And that is the letter in which he wrote about the interconnectedness of all communities. I cannot sit idly by in Atlanta, he writes, and not be concerned about what happens in Birmingham. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. He goes on to write, let us all hope that the dark clouds of racial prejudice will soon pass away and the deep fog of misunderstanding will be lifted from our fear-drenched communities. And in some not too distant tomorrow, the radiant stars of love and brotherhood will shine over our great nation with all of their scintillating beauty, yours for the cause of peace and brotherhood. Knowing that that proverbial long arc of the moral universe is still being invited, encouraged, and built toward justice, it struck me at the time that Dr. King, in some ways, is still in that jail cell in Birmingham, still sending that letter to us. The music video, directed by Maxwell Thomas, features friends and colleagues, all of whom are committed to the work of lifting others up, of helping make the world healthier. It also features, which you will see, the words of incredible leaders around the globe and over the centuries who are still sending their own letters and their own invitations to each of us to be a part of positive pro-social, pro-environmental change. Thank you for listening.
In 2014, I began the Climate Message Project and continued this work into 2021 with work undertaken for Music for Climate Justice. I solicited musicians, artists, performers from all over the world to say a few words about climate change and offer some piece of music that they thought was beautiful, relevant, or just something they felt like sharing. Here is Sunniva Brunell and Andreas Jansson from Sweden, offering a beautiful Swedish folk song for accordion and guitar.
Hi, we're Sunniva Brunell and Andreas Jansson from Sweden, and we hope that with these two pieces will somehow help raise awareness about climate change. Hope you enjoy. tune that I wrote for my father, Martin, about a year ago. It was written in the style of a Swedish wedding march, which is for when the bride walks in or out of the church before and after the ceremony.
That was Sunniva Brunell and Andreas Jansson from Sweden, offering their music as part of 2021's Music for Climate Justice campaign. I'm Warren Sanders. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Keep singing, hit like and subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends who might be interested. Our next episode will be dropping in the middle of May, and it's going to be a special bumper-length piece all about bees. We'll see you there.
But as a fellow clergyman and a Christian brother, let us all hope that the dark clouds of racial prejudice will soon pass away, and the deep fog of misunderstanding will be lifted from our fear-drenched communities, and in some not too distant tomorrow, the radiant stars of love and brotherhood will shine over our great nation with all their scintillating beauty. Yours for the cause of peace and brotherhood, Martin Luther King, Jr.